on your side. This is NBC 12 News.
Now at noon, protesters have gathered downtown as anticipated for Lobby Day here in Richmond.
Police and emergency officials continue to patrol around the state capitol this afternoon ahead of more protests and a car rally scheduled throughout the day. The FBI warning that some of them could potentially turn violent.
Henry Graff joins us from downtown Richmond. Henry, what's the tone there where you are now? What are you seeing and how are people acting?
You know, a few dozen people out here right now. Good afternoon. We are in the shadow of the Virginia Capitol here right now on 9th Street. There are a handful of people down here. Some folks are armed. They are here protesting their Second Amendment rights and making sure their voices are heard. And everybody at this moment in time being very respectful down here. More media, honestly, and police than really protesters or anybody else. I do want to bring in Christina Baker, though. She's down here. She's from Richmond. She's also a nurse, and you're here protesting and trying to ensure your Second Amendment rights. Talk to me about what brings you down here today and why you're down here.
Well, my name's Christina Baker, and I'm an emergency room travel nurse. I am taking off from travel nursing to be here to defend my Second Amendment rights, and I'm using my First Amendment rights to do so.
We turn to Nick Russo, who has the latest on that for us. Nick.
Yeah, Henry, a few road closures near the Capitol this morning and heading into the afternoon.
Breaking now at 6, Virginia Commonwealth University has suspended a fraternity on campus after the death of a student this weekend. We'll tell you what the organization is saying about this. And more breaking news. Police have arrested the man they say hit and killed a Henrico police officer before driving off. The charges he faces tonight. Plus, we are learning more this evening about just how many doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine are expected in the Commonwealth. We have those details for you coming up. First, we start with that breaking news in Richmond. The VCU community now mourning the death of a student this evening. University officials say freshman student Adam Oakes died at an off-campus residence early Saturday morning. Right now, there is no exact word on how he died, but the Richmond Police Department and VCU police are investigating this. We can tell you that the Delta Chi fraternity at VCU has been issued a cease and desist order from their national office and the university while the investigation continues. Anyone with information about this is asked to call VCU police at 804-828-1196. The fraternity's headquarters in Indianapolis also put out a statement expressing condolences for Oak's family. They said, quote, "The health and safety of our communities is always a top priority for the Delta Chi fraternity, which suspended the VCU chapter after learning of the incident," end quote. We will definitely stay on top of this story as we learn more. Also breaking this evening, police have arrested the man they say hit and killed a 30-year veteran of the Henrico Police Department. 30-year-old Justin Regensburg was taken into custody on 2 charges of felony hit and run. The arrest comes as the Henrico Police Department mourns the loss of one of their own, Captain Don Lambert. Lambert was a 30-year veteran of the department and the captain of the Henrico Police Special Operations Group. Desiree Montilla spoke with the department today, and she's joining us now with the latest.
Captain Don Lambert spent a lot of time with Henrico Police here at the Fair Oak Station. A commitment to his work and the safety of the community his colleagues say they'll never forget.
You know, and one of the things he and I had conversations about is how can we prevent traffic crashes? That was one of our goals. How ironic that he becomes a victim.
Thanks, Candace. Well, we start with breaking news out of Spotsylvania County. Moments ago, the family of Isaiah Brown spoke publicly for the first time since the sheriff's office released the 911 call and the body cam video of a deputy opening fire on Brown. Now, police say the deputy gave Isaiah Smith a ride home after his car broke down, but he then returned minutes later after Brown called 911, reporting a dispute with his own brother. That deputy ultimately fired multiple shots at Brown, who was unarmed at the time. It appears the officer mistook a phone for a gun. Now Brown's family is speaking out after that video was made public on Friday. Our Desiree Montilla was at the press conference this afternoon. And Desiree, what did the family have to say about all this?
Kelly, Isaiah Brown's family tells us they're just numb over this whole case. They tell us that Isaiah Brown had a heart of gold and he was there for anyone that called for help for him.
Back to that local breaking news in Monroe Park, where protesters tore down a Confederate statue. This happened around 10:30 last night as protesters marched to the statue, which had been standing in the park since 1891. We're told protesters continued to march after bringing that statue to the ground. Joining us live this evening is Enzo Domingo, who has been working his sources trying to figure out if any charges have been filed in this. And Enzo, are there protesters in the park at this hour?
No, Jasmine, this afternoon, no protesters at the park, but there was a little gathering a little bit earlier on the other side as Wave Church was holding an afternoon service. Now, you may be able to see over my shoulder, but the statue has been removed, but there was a few people coming by here and there trying to get photos of the now empty pedestal, which is, riddled with Black Lives Matter slogans.
Now at 6:30, the U.S. effort to get more people vaccinated hits a major roadblock, with the FDA and the CDC pausing the administration of the Johnson & Johnson shot after blood clot concerns. We'll tell you how one victim has ties right here to Virginia.
And police need your help to find a man they say robbed not one but two pharmacies yesterday. We'll tell you where the crimes happened coming up.
And we're tracking storms that could be making their way through central Virginia today. That's why it's a first alert weather day. Andrew joins us with everything you need to know before you head out the door. Good morning to you. Thank you for waking up with 12 News today this Wednesday at 6:30 a.m. I'm Sarah Bloom.
And I'm Anthony Antoine. All right, Candace, what do we have in the traffic world?
We're still following this disabled vehicle out in Dinwiddie. I'm just waiting for the official all clear. They've been there for hours. So we'll talk more about that in just a few. But right now we'll talk to Andrew about this First Alert Weather Day.
Yeah, First Alert Weather Day, but it's not an all-day event. This is going to be something that develops for the late afternoon and evening. So that First Alert Weather Day tag is on the day, but the entire day is not a washout.
That breaking news is right here in the Commonwealth. Over the past 24 hours, there have been 395 new positive cases of coronavirus. That is the highest single-day total in Virginia since the pandemic began. Let's take you to the latest information we know tonight. There are now 2,407 cases in the Commonwealth. At least 52 people have died. More than 21,000 people have been tested, and 390 people have had to go to the hospital because of COVID-19. We've also confirmed one additional case of the virus at the Virginia home in Richmond. That brings the total number of cases there to 8, including one employee. Right now, Johns Hopkins University confirms there are more than 1.1 million cases worldwide. They also confirm more than 63,000 deaths worldwide related to COVID-19. Companies nationwide are dealing with the changing guidelines from the CDC. To try and combat the spread of coronavirus, some major retailers, such as Target and Walmart, are announcing new social distancing guidelines. They're limiting the amount of customers allowed indoors. New tonight, AJ Nuogo stopped by a few locations to see how things have changed and if people think it will actually help. Thank you so much, AJ. In Richmond, the city is taking additional steps to protect the public. The city announced closures of the parking lots at Tredegar and Pony Pasture starting today and happening every Saturday and Sunday until further notice. The city is also closing access to the James River Park system at the Pipeline entry point and the 21st Street Tower on weekends. Last week, the city closed all dog parks, athletic fields, and playgrounds until the state stay-at-home order has been lifted. The CDC has changed its stance on wearing masks, and they are now encouraging Americans to wear non-medical masks outdoors. In Richmond, some of those who were out at Browns Island today were definitely heeding those warnings. This comes as the CDC is now recommending those with and without the virus to cover their faces when possible. The Surgeon General even posting a video online for making your own. Take a look.
You can make a face covering out of an old t-shirt. Fold it to the middle from the bottom, fold it to the middle from the top, fold it again to the middle from the bottom, and again from the top, and then 2 rubber bands, one on one side and one on the other side. Then you fold either side to the middle, and you have yourself cloth face covering. It's that easy.
The Surgeon General wants you to remember a mask is not a substitute for social distancing, and everyone should try to maintain distance when out. That's very important. We have some sad news coming into our newsroom this evening. Former UVA basketball star Kyle Guy took to Twitter this afternoon to announce the death of his grandfather to COVID-19. The former national champ pleaded with people to take this pandemic seriously, saying, quote, "I beg you, don't let this be your wake-up call. Take this seriously and stay safe." Guy now plays in Sacramento for the Kings.
News coming in from Norfolk, where right now a U.S. Naval hospital ship is leaving Virginia, headed to New York to aid in healthcare efforts amid the coronavirus pandemic. The USNS Comfort is a 70,000-ton ship that's being sent to one of the worst-hit states to offer relief for hospitals that are being overtaken by people battling COVID-19. Here's a look at the president's send-off from this afternoon. We want to get you now to what you need to know about the coronavirus in Virginia. There are now 739 cases in the Commonwealth. At least 17 people have died. 9,100 people have been tested and 99 have had to go to the hospital because of it. 2 associates at Bon Secours in Hanover have tested positive. There's also a second case of the virus at Fort Lee. That's where a dental clinic employee tested positive. President Trump signed into law a record $2.2 trillion economic rescue package, a plan that could put thousands of dollars into your bank account within 3 to 4 weeks. Of those cases you just heard about, 2 of them are in the Crater Health District. A man in his 30s in Emporia tested positive, along with a woman in her 70s in Greensville County. Those cases are both the first in their respective localities. As the number of people infected continues to climb across the country, more states are imposing stay-at-home orders to slow the spread. The White House now urging people who aren't very sick to not get tested simply because hospital beds are running out of protective equipment. Chris Pallone reports from New York.
As COVID-19 infections spread, President Trump says he's considering a strict travel ban on millions of Americans in the coronavirus hotspots of the Northeast.
Chris, thank you. Turning now to Richmond, where it's a beautiful day outside. And of course, you wanted to get out and enjoy it, right? We wanted to know just how all of you are handling social distancing while getting out in the fresh air. Enzo Domingo joining us now. Enzo, you went to Burt Park today. What are people telling you there?
Now at 7, Henrico police have arrested a suspect in the shooting death of a Henrico teen yesterday evening. Coming up, we'll tell you who the victim was and how the community is reacting today. Plus, we are following more shootings overnight that left 2 people dead in Virginia Beach. We'll tell you where the shootings happened and who police have in custody this evening. And we remember the life of our colleague and friend, Andrea McDaniel. We'll show you how some of our staff, past and present, are remembering her legacy today. First, we start with a check on the forecast as the beautiful day we were having has turned gloomy with showers passing across the area. It's looking like that may be the case tomorrow as well. Weather specialist Nick Russo joining us now from the Weather Center. And Nick, it seems like the rain has calmed down for now, but what about tomorrow?
Yes, Jasmine, that rain is pushing out of here. Tomorrow is a first alert weather day, though. We're not just talking about rain on Sunday. We're talking about the threat for strong to severe thunderstorms during the afternoon.
Nick, now back to that breaking news in Henrico, where police have arrested a suspect after a teen was shot and killed yesterday evening. Right now, we are learning from Henrico County Schools that the victim is a 13-year-old Lucia Bremer, a student at Quioccasin Middle School. Police are also withholding the name of the suspect, who is also a juvenile. AJ Nwoko was at that scene today where a makeshift memorial has been set up in Lucia's honor. And he joins us now with reaction from neighbors nearby who are just still shocked by all of this.
That's right, Jasmine. This is still a very heartbreaking tragedy right now. Tonight, many people in the neighborhood are still grieving that loss, but now they are able to rest easier, they tell me, knowing that the suspect is in custody.
Tonight, a vigil grows in the Hickory Ridge neighborhood for the young life tragically taken away.
It's a truly heartbreaking situation. Tomorrow, Henrico Public Schools say they plan to have an opportunity for students, staff, and families to grieve and support one another in a safe virtual space. They plan to show their support by wearing gray and white, 2 of Lucia's favorite colors. But for now, on your side, AJ Nwoko, NBC 12.
Just so sad. We are thinking about Lucia's family tonight. Now let's get to the latest in another shooting, this one in Virginia Beach. 2 people are dead and at least 8 others injured after several shootings last night along the city's oceanfront. The first calls about the shootings came in around 11:20 p.m. and when police arrived, 8 people had been shot. While responding to that shooting, more shots were fired nearby and we're told an officer confronted someone before shooting and later killing them. Another person was shot in an unrelated shooting nearby and also died.
What you can see is we have a very chaotic incident, a very chaotic night in the beach, many different crime scenes.
Police say an officer was also hit by a vehicle during the investigation, but is expected to be okay. Police also say several people are in custody and the shootings are still under investigation. We will be sure to stay on top of this developing story, bringing you any updates as they come into the newsroom. Let's move now to our continuing coronavirus coverage here in Virginia. The positivity rate ticked up slightly to 5.7%. Our hearts are heavy here at NBC 12 tonight, and that's because our longtime colleague and dear friend Andrea McDaniel has passed away. Tonight, we take a moment to look back at the impact and legacy Andrea had in this community. It was her signature greeting for more than 2 decades.
Good morning. It's coming up on 3 minutes before 6 o'clock on this Friday, the 2nd day of June. Welcome to 12 News Today. I'm Andrea McDaniel.
When Andrea McDaniel said good morning, it was time to start your day in RVA.
14 minutes past 6 o'clock. In financial news, London and Tokyo stocks are higher today. Here at home, after spending most of the session in minus territory.
Andrea anchored 12 News Today and 12 News at noon from 1985 to 2006. She was a passionate journalist committed to giving her audience the most up-to-date information. That passion is the reason why her show was Richmond's #1 morning show then and now, 15 years later.
And that's what she did. She helped thousands of people for years wake up and get their day started.
In Virginia, we are just 1 day away from the entire Commonwealth moving into phase 2 of the state's vaccine rollout. Many areas are already in phase 2, but starting tomorrow, all Virginians 16 and older will be eligible to get the COVID-19 vaccine shot. Governor Ralph Northam put out a video message yesterday encouraging all Virginians to get the COVID vaccine when possible. The governor saying tomorrow, vaccinate.virginia.gov will provide a link where you can search for vaccine appointments near you. You can also call the hotline 877-VAX-IN-VA or 877-829-4682. Today in Richmond, the Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU gave out more than 900 first doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine to some patients and their families. The hospital says it worked to prioritize groups of patients to be offered the vaccine, and those patients had to be at least 16 years old with underlying health conditions. Parents and caregivers were also given the option to get the vaccine, which some say was quite the surprise.
I think this will help my grandparents feel a lot better just because they're high risk, and knowing that this will kind of keep them safer is just a reassuring feeling for sure.
I'm really looking forward to the day when I can get everybody in the household vaccinated. So it was really a surprise when I got the call, but I was very excited and very appreciative that we could get her in here for her health, but then also everybody else in our household.
Recipients today have been scheduled to receive their second dose at another vaccine clinic next month. And looking at the latest vaccine numbers in Virginia, more than 3.4 million shots have been given out so far, with 26.5% of Virginians receiving at least 1 dose.